Google adds drop-down menus, new smart chips, and emoji comments to Google Docs. Canva is offering a free design course for students, and Microsoft Teams gets a video feedback option. Welcome into episode 5 of the EdTech News Brief. I'm your host, Jake Miller. This is the show where, as the title says, I tell you about EdTech news and I keep it brief. And by brief, I mean clear, concise, and just what you need to know. Nothing more, nothing less. This is episode 5. It's May 17th-ish, depending on when I release this, and I've got some EdTech news to share with you today. Before getting into it, I'd like to remind you that these episodes are available both as a podcast and as a YouTube video. So if you'd like to see the ed tech that I talk about, head over to YouTube so you can see it. And if you'd just like to hear the updates while you're on the go, tune into the podcast. And another note, between the school year, 4 weeks left, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's still 4 weeks, and my own kids' activities, keeping a consistent schedule for this show is a challenge right now. So I'm aiming for weekly and on Wednesdays, but don't send out a search party if an episode doesn't pop up every week. I'm doing my best. I'll be here as often as I can. Stay tuned to the very end of the show, because at the very end of the show, after the dad joke, after everything, I'm going to announce who the 35 winners of prizes from the launch survey are. So again, go to the very end, listen all the way to the very end, or watch all the way to the very end, and you'll hear who those 35 winners of those prizes are. OMG, you can have drop-down menus in Google Docs right now. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. These additions primarily relate to the Google Docs Smart Chips menu that pops up when you type in an @ symbol. Well, it now features a boatload of goodies. Many of them are just quick access to things that we already had access to within the regular toolbar menus, but some surprises popped up recently. First, let's run through all of the awesome stuff that's in there. First, we have People, which lets you tag people in your doc. Next, Building Blocks, which lets you insert templates that Google provides for things like meeting notes and email drafts and other things. Next, Files, which lets you add little links to Google Drive files. Next up, checklists, numbered lists, and bulleted lists. Then we have images, drawings, and charts, and those drawings are Google drawings, by the way. Next is dates, which, to be honest, I don't see a whole lot of use in, but oh well, it's there. Maybe you'll find some use in it. Tell me all about it. Next, your text formatting sections like normal text and heading and title that you could pre-format the way you like them to be. Type an @ click that, you automatically get that text that you like. Next is calendar events. Then page components like page numbers and page counts, headers and footers, page breaks and watermarks. By the way, it's crazy easy to add watermarks to Google Docs now. Have you tried it? And then we've got a table plus some slick table templates that Google provides to us. Next, horizontal line, table of contents, bookmarks, footnotes, equations, special characters, and links. Most of that is not that big of news, and almost all of it can be accessed from one of the normal menus at the top of the screen. The big one, though, is that last option in that @ menu, that Smart Chips menu, which I left out in that list that I just gave, and that is Dropdowns. You can select one of their pre-made drop-down sets, or, the big news for teachers, you can make your own set, and you can put in as many options as you want. At least as far as I could tell, I added 30 when I tested out to see how many I could do. And you can add the text and select the color for each option. And if this is a drop-down you use regularly, you could even save it to use in the future. Plus, if you copy the drop-down, just using Control-C like you would normally copy, you could paste it elsewhere with the same options. Same drop-down options, same colors, everything. Just Control-C, Control-V, and you've got it in a new place. It's really rad. Dropdown is also in the Insert menu at the top of the screen, so you can get to it from there too. There are also lots of potential applications in the classroom, from multiple choice questions to a work feedback cycle to management of student-paced or personalized learning setups, and certainly more, and I'm sure you can come up with a bunch. These dropdowns and the Smart Chips are available to all Google users.
Mr. Miller, I have a question.
Excuse me, can you check my work?
What page is this assignment on?
Mr. Miller, can I have a copy of this handout?
So many questions, so many hands raised. And if you know me, then you already know that I believe any EdTech tool you use should serve a specific purpose, and the one I'm about to tell you about does just that. It's a simple tool that can make a big impact in your classroom, especially on those days that you are acting as that guide on the side and spending your class period working with individual students or circulating around the room while students work. Often, if a student needs you for help or to conference with them, they'll raise their hand and then you get to them as soon as you're able. In my classroom, for some reason, on some days, the students just say my name repeatedly. Either system works, basically, but it can sometimes leave students waiting with their hands in the air for a long time, or it can leave you with a headache if they're all just hollering for you. This is where today's sponsor, Classroom Q, comes in. It's like your digital deli ticket system for your classroom. If a student needs you, they simply click a big blue button on their computer, and it will alert you as the teacher and put all your students in order so you can easily know who to get to. And they can add text so you know if you maybe need to prioritize some students a little further down the list. On the student end, it will tell them where they are in line and update them so they can get back to work while they wait for you to come to them. It's simple, it's free, and it streamlines the way you assist students in a blended classroom. Give it a try for free today at classroomq.com. Smiley face, face with open mouth. Thinking face, face with tears of joy. Pile of poo. We all love emojis, and now we can use them in lieu of comments within Google Docs. Maybe not the pile of poo one. But now, if you highlight some text, you'll see 3 options on the right side of the screen. Add comment, add emoji reaction, and add suggested edits. And you might see a 4th one like the hypermote link if you use Mote in your classroom as well. So you click on that add emoji reaction one, and you'll see a menu of all of the emojis that exist, and you can click one to make an emoji reaction. Other people who have can edit or can comment access to that doc can then also click on that same emoji to upvote it. Now it'll show the same emoji with a 2 next to it instead of a 1 like it did before. Or they can highlight the text and add a different emoji if maybe they disagree or want to show their feelings about it in a different way. And each person, including you, the creator of the doc, can add multiple emojis to the same spot as well. If you click an emoji reaction that you've already added, it'll make that reaction go away, or if there are more than one of it, it'll reduce that number by 1. Then when you hover the cursor over them, you can see who the emojis came from. They can also be resolved, just like comments, and these emojis show up in the comments menu in the top right corner so that you can track them, that menu up near the share button. Emoji reactions are just like comments. They can only be added or viewed if you have can edit or can comment access. People who are can view will neither see the emoji reactions nor be able to add reactions of their own. I love, by the way, that Google made it possible to add any emoji, not just a handful like, say, thumbs up and smiley faces. They're all there. Plus, when appropriate, there are different skin tones and gender options as well, including gender-neutral emoji. This update is available in all Google accounts, including free ones. Hey, don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, click the thumbs up to tell me thanks and ring the subscribe bell. If you're listening to the podcast, don't forget to follow the show or subscribe if that's what your app says. And if you have a moment, submit a review. More than 75% of the folks that filled out the launch survey for this show are Canva users. But what about their students? If you'd like to get your students using Canva, they have a free Canva Design Skills for Students course available. It features 7 video lessons totaling about 20 minutes worth of video, and then each video lesson has an activity attached to it that actually has more content in it too. So kids watch for 2 to 5 minutes and then actually make something, which is fantastic. The lessons are on searching for and editing elements, that's number 1, uploading, editing media, that's number 2, recording yourself, that's number 3, adding and styling text, number 4, editing photos, number 5, adding animations, number 6, and using apps, number 7. The activities are filled with slides for each element of that lesson. On the left part of the slide, those slides show a short video of how to complete the task. Then on the right is the space to complete the task. It really is a great format. To be honest, I think I might go through the course myself just to upgrade my own Canva skills. If you do it, you'll learn how to upload photos, videos, audio, record yourself, record your screen, use the photo background remover, use the built-in drawing tool, use the built-in QR code app, use the built-in YouTube app, and more. Or use it as intended and your students will learn to do those things. I bet it'll work as a fun end of the year activity, but I could also see it being fantastic at the beginning of the year so that your students can then use those skills all year long in your classroom. This course is free for all, and Canva for Education is free for all K-12 educators and students as well. I'll have a link to the course in the show notes and video description. If you're a Microsoft Teams user, you'll now see a video feedback option in the feedback pane that pops up on the right. You'll still see the normal options like selecting a student, selecting an assignment to view, text feedback, and points, but now you'll see a little video button. Click on it, record right there, and then click Upload to automatically attach it to the assignment. You'll also see a paperclip option as well that'll allow you to attach a different file as part of your feedback. This might be an annotated screenshot or a video that you prepared outside of Microsoft Teams. One issue with the video tool that's built in there is that unless I'm missing something, it is webcam only. So you won't be able to add a screencast feedback using the built-in video tool, but you could just upload it right here using the attach tool, and that obviously would be really beneficial. So in that case, record elsewhere and then attach it using the attach button, or just insert a link to it. This powerful feedback and assessment update is available to all Teams EDU users. Watching my oldest kiddo play baseball. Watching my middle kiddo create magnificent crafts. Watching my youngest kiddo play soccer. Spending family time at the pool and beach. And providing PD to educators like you. Did that last one seem a little out of place to you? Well, it's not. All 5 things are things I love to do. I don't love presenting and speaking and consulting and training quite as much as I love my family, but I don't really want my family to know just how close that call is. So if you think there's a good fit for me to be a part of a learning opportunity for you and your colleagues, send me a message, JakeMillerTech@gmail.com, and let's talk about it. I know what you're thinking. Number 1, Jake is too busy to come here. Number 2, we are too far away from Jake. Number 3, our staff or event is too small for Jake. But there is a really good chance that all 3 of those things are wrong. I love providing PD. There's a 100% chance that I'd love to be a part of yours. And there's a very good chance that we can make it work. I offer keynotes and workshops, but also sessions on choice boards, podcasting in the classroom, Google Sheets, Scratch, Flipgrid, selecting EdTech tools that meet your purposes in your classroom, and more. Plus, I've got some ideas for sessions that I'm just waiting for someone to ask me to develop. These include 6 tools for quick formative assessment, 7 tools for student video creation, a dozen audio tools for the classroom, and more. Seriously, send me that email, JakeMillerTech@gmail.com. Next up, I like to keep a list of questions that people have asked me about the show or about the tools that I've covered in the show and come to one of them every episode if I've got some spare time. So in the launch survey, somebody said, "Hey Jake, do we still use the hashtag EDU duct tape for this show? If we want to tweet out something about this new podcast, is that what we use?" No is the answer. Use the hashtag TheEdTechNewsBrief. A little bit long for a hashtag, but I think it'll be fine. I've been using it. That's what I use with all of my tweets about the show. Hashtag TheEdTechNewsBrief. But heck, if you're sharing about the show, I don't care what hashtag you use because I appreciate the support. But I mean, if you use that hashtag, that'd be really nice. I'd also like to take this opportunity to shout out the winners of the EdTech News Brief launch survey contest from the previous episodes, ran through the end of April. More than 200 people entered to win the 35 prizes that were available. Right now, I'm going to say their names. I'm going to mispronounce some of them, so I apologize for that. But I'm going to say the names of the winners, and then in the show notes or the description on the YouTube video will be a link to the video where I picked who the winners are so you can see what you won. So if you're one of the winners, you'll want to look there to see what you won. I will also email each of these winners individually to tell them how to proceed to claim their prize. If you don't hear from me directly within the next week, feel free to email me and say, "Hey Jake, what's up? How do I get my prize?" But otherwise, I will reach out to you. You don't have to do anything but just wait for that email to show up. Okay, so our winners are George Summers, Christine Strickland, Vicky Binswanger, Carla Ganem, Tara Turner, Ainsley Hill, Angela Wheeler, Heather Brown, Christina Horan, Danine Cole, Cindy Morman, Bonnie Kramer, Stacy Joy, Rachel Martin, Deanna Hubble, Sherelle Young, Kristen Remington, Tanya Skinner, Aaron McAnallen, Jay Strumwasser, Jennifer Borgfjord, Paula Dobesh, Lori Schrader, Brian Krause, Simone Nance, Shannon Harning, Nancy Buck, Jennifer Pavlik, Christine Morgan, Maria Woodhouse, Rebecca Autry, Michelle Barkemeyer, Vicky Heipel, Maureen Young, and Kara Montroyce, I'm guessing, or Montraw. Winners, again, I will reach out to you directly. I apologize if I'm going to mispronounce your name, but you'll get details on how to claim those prizes soon. I will say how awesome it is to select these prizes and see so many names of people that I've interacted with over the years, whether it's on Twitter or at conferences or via email or on Instagram or interaction planning, speaking events at places. It's just so cool seeing that happen. So thank you all for your support and congratulations to those winners, and I will be in touch with you soon. And finally, the way that I'll cap off every episode is with a dad joke. Here's today's. Why did the computer have no money left? Someone cleared out its cache. And cookies, I guess, too, but no, that wasn't part of the joke. Thanks for listening to today's episode. I will most likely be back next Wednesday, and I really hope that you will be too. I'd really appreciate it if you do those awesome things like rating or reviewing the show in Apple Podcasts, liking or subscribing to the show on YouTube, following the podcast in your favorite app, and of course, sharing this episode.